a question about the supernatural series, The Winchesters. Chris, what do we got here?
This is from Crowley's Chauffeur. Hey, John and crew. I know John was a big fan of Supernatural, and I actually started watching it about 5 years ago because of John. And
Thank you.
instantly fell in love with it. The prequel series, The Winchesters, wasn't great, but it was still supernatural, and enjoyed watching it and looking forward to seeing how it would develop. Sadly, I just read that it's been canceled after just one season. What do you think of this sad day, John, and do you think there's a chance for a future Supernatural spinoff series?
All right, thanks a lot for that. By the way, Crowley Chauffeur, great name. If you don't know Supernatural, that's the name of one, probably my favorite character on Supernatural was
best.
Crowley, played by Mark. Oh, he was also on Battlestar Galactica. I'm trying to remember the name.
And he was in Firefly.
And he was in the debut issue.
Yeah, he's amazing.
What was his name? Mark something.
I look him up.
Can't remember. Anyway, fabulous character. Yeah, you're not wrong. I loved Supernatural. I loved that show. And it was one of those shows where I almost didn't even care what the story was. Like, I just liked the characters so much that I looked forward every week to just turning on the TV and just hanging out with the Winchester boys, with Crowley, with Castiel. You know, I loved the show. I loved the banter. I loved the dialogue. And many seasons, the story was great. I mean, they had this kind of overarching story for the first couple of seasons with the yellow-eyed demon and all that kind of stuff. And then every season was its own new main story. And I thought they did it great. It had better seasons and worse seasons, but every week I got to hang out with them. And it broke my heart when they brought the series to a conclusion. I mean, it lasted, what, 15 seasons?
Yeah.
15 or something like that. 15 seasons. Couldn't have asked for more. Broke my heart. And then they announced that they were doing a new Supernatural series, a prequel series called The Winchesters, about Sam and Dean's parents. And instantly I got really excited. Because not Jared Padalecki.
Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles, that's right, the other one, was going to be the producer of it and was going to be narrating it. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And then the first trailer for The Winchesters came out. I have never had an erection disappear so fast. That trailer was awful. It was so bad. And I just could not bring myself. I mean, the trailer looked so awful and so terrible. I just simply could not bring myself
To what?
to watch.
To what? To what? What are we talking about here? Should I leave?
Adrian.
I could not bring myself to watch the show.
Oh, yeah?
Like,
That's
to
what
what? I couldn't bring myself to watch the show. I just couldn't do it. I never even saw a single episode, not one. Because it looked so bad. And then, you know, I asked a buddy of mine who was also a big Supernatural fan who did watch it. And they're like, yeah, you're going to want to avoid this. It'll just break your heart. So I did. But now, so I cannot sit here and say with firsthand knowledge that the show was bad because I didn't watch it. I just know that it looked bad to me. Then I heard from some people it was pretty bad and I skipped it. So it comes as no surprise that they canceled the show. This comes to us from the folks at Deadline. To what? Who write, the CW has opted not to pick up a second season of The Winchesters. The news is not surprising. The Supernatural prequel was among the long shot renewal prospects at the network under its new ownership as it focused on unscripted and lower cost scripted programming, primarily international acquisitions, co-productions in pursuit of profitability. Now, they go on to say this is kind of interesting. So far, the only CW's strongest existing scripted series, All American and Walker, have been renewed for next season. That's it. All American and Walker. The three least likely, The Winchesters, Kung Fu, and Walker Independence, have been canceled. Remaining in limbo are Superman and Lois and All American Homecoming, which are believed to have the best chance, however small it may be, followed by Gotham Knights. And there's another report that just came out that CW's only either going to stick with Superman, Lois, or Gotham Knights. One of those two is absolutely getting canceled as well.
Gee, I wonder which one they will pick.
You know what? I think Superman, Lois is the one that's going to get canceled.
What?
Why?
Because I'll guarantee you that's the more expensive show to make.
Oh, but it's the good one.
I know.
So,
but anyway,
makes
we're
me
here to
sad.
talk about the Winchesters. So, look, I can't say I am disappointed that the Winchesters got canceled because I couldn't even bring myself to watch it. Again, not me saying that the show is bad because I have no firsthand knowledge about whether it was good or bad. Now, as far as what could the future be for other Supernatural spinoffs? Well, they tried, while Supernatural was still on air, they tried a couple of spinoff series. They did a couple of episodes where they were strictly episodes meant to set up other series.
Backdoor pilots.
What's that? Like yeah, little mini pilots, right? One of them was a couple of those 3 female characters that I actually wanted to see that show. There was the woman who was kind of the sheriff, then there was her friend, and then the young girl. I thought that could have been really fun. Then they did an entire another one where Sam and Dean meet a young guy who's going to be a hunter too, and they were kind of angling for that to be a spin-off series. Never came to fruition. I'll be honest with you, at this point, I have no interest in more supernatural stuff unless it's Jensen and Jared coming back. But John, with the ending, I know, but we're talking about God. You can do anything in this series. I understand how the series ended, but I mean, I'm not saying they should bring it back. I'm just saying that's probably the only way I'll be interested. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, MasterClass. With MasterClass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You can learn filmmaking from James Cameron himself, you know, the guy who made 3 of the 4 biggest films of all time. Improve your writing by taking screenwriting from one of the greatest who's ever done it, Aaron Sorkin. Or maybe learn how to make great comedic content by taking comedy by the one and the only Judd Apatow. And many of you guys know I'm a big poker guy, and I recently got a chance to sit down and watch Daniel Negreanu, one of the greatest poker players in the world, teach poker. It was absolutely fantastic. But guys, whatever you're interested in, there is a class for you with over 180 exclusive classes taught by the instructors you know and love. And you can explore lessons in any order you'd like across your phone, tablet, Apple TV, computer, and on the go with audio mode. Individual lessons range from about 10 to 15 minutes in length that fit easily into your everyday life. Guys, I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every class, and as a John Campea Show listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea now. That's masterclass.com/Campea for 15% off Masterclass. Anyway, Chris, with all the changes at CW now and all the other shows being canceled, any big surprise here that the Winchesters got the axe?
No, I say that again as somebody who didn't watch this because the trailers did not interest me. We've talked about this a little bit. I'm not a huge prequel person of, okay, well, what am I going to glean from this that I don't already know from the series that I've already watched? If there are really interesting revelations and everything, cool. I kind of already know about some of these things about Mary having been a hunter and all of this stuff from the actual Supernatural series, because that's a big reveal in the show. So I didn't really know what I'd be getting out of this one, and I didn't tune in. So I can't talk to the quality of this show personally. There definitely could be a spin-off series though, because they did try and fail so many times, because we had Wayward Sisters was the one you were talking about.
Oh, that was the name of it. Yeah, I wanted to see
the
that.
Sheriffs, the gal from Quantumania and everything. And that looked really, really interesting. The backdoor pilot episode for that was very, very compelling. There was another episode where
Wait a minute, that girl was the same girl from Quantumania?
Yeah.
That's why she looked so familiar to me. Okay, thank you.
Catherine Newton, that's where she started.
Bing.
There was another one where Sam and Dean are kind of involved in the episode, but it's about these families that are kind of mafia families, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
But it's family. But they're all, supernatural creatures and things, and there's a star-crossed lovers kind of relationship in there. That didn't get picked up. So there's several different things they've tried to do. More of the things that would interest me personally are kind of the dynamics of heaven and hell. But then that maybe gets too close to Good Omens territory.
Right.
Because Castiel and Crowley were my favorite characters on the show. I really, really enjoyed them. I'd love to see more about Crowley personally, and his mother and everything. I think that would be really fascinating because I loved her. I think there's still potential for it. I think, as everything, though, it comes down to good storytelling. And so far, it just seems like these have been things that haven't had the great storytelling like Supernatural did.
And see, that's where it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I said I didn't even care a lot of the seasons of Supernatural if the story overall was was really great, because I just loved the characters and I loved hanging out with the characters. Well, that's a double-edged sword, because now if you take away the characters, even if you do bring in some good story, I was watching for the characters. Yeah. And so it kind of can cut you both ways. But then again, it gave them 15 seasons.
For sure. Well, and it had this kind of X-Men or X-Files approach too,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Where you're there for Mulder and Scully, you're there for Dean, but you then still have the monster of the week aspect of it. So you don't always have to have every episode be like oh, this is adding to the entire big narrative storyline we're doing. Sometimes it's just a goofy one-off that just furthers the relationship between those two brothers, right? Or furthers the relationship through another tertiary character who they know. And I think that's one of the things that worked in Supernatural's favor was, yes, there was an overarching plot, but you could have just these weird little time loop episodes, or, you know, we do a kind of spoof on those supernatural paranormal shows where people are ghost hunting, and that would be a one-off episode. So it would keep it feeling fresh, even though we'd been doing kind of the same thing for 15 seasons.
All right, guys, question is for you. The Supernatural spinoff, The Winchesters, has been canceled after one season. Not a big surprise for a couple of reasons. We didn't hear it was all that good. Plus, CW's axing most of their shows right now. What do you think about this? Did you watch the show? Did you skip it like I did? Maybe you never even watched Supernatural. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.